I never imagined a single day at school could change my life forever. Honestly, if someone had told me last week that I'd leave the principal's office wearing heels, skirts, and a dress that clung to every curve, I would have laughed, or maybe cried. But here I am, sitting on my bed, shoes off, heart still racing, and staring at my reflection in disbelief. I barely recognize myself. My hair falls in soft waves around my shoulders, my nails are painted a perfect blush pink, and my lips. God, my lips are a soft, glossy pink. And the strangest part? I feel right. It all started that morning, with a single, seemingly innocuous warning slip in my locker. Come to my office after school. Urgent. My stomach dropped as I read it. I'd been a straight-A student, rarely causing trouble. But apparently, this time, my sarcastic comment in history class about the principal's outdated tie had crossed some invisible line. When I walked into her office, Ms. Whitmore, our principal, looked different. Her usual stern expression was softened by a smile that made my skin crawl with anticipation and anxiety. "Sit down, Alex," she said, her voice calm but firm. I obeyed instantly, feeling the cold leather of her chair bite into my thighs. She gestured toward a folder on her desk. "We have a disciplinary program for students who need to understand the importance of self-presentation," she said. Her words were strange, cryptic, almost teasing, and I frowned. Self-presentation. Before I could protest, she leaned forward, her eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made me shiver. "You've been chosen for a special opportunity, Alex. You'll see the world differently after today." My heart was pounding. I wanted to ask what she meant, but the words stuck in my throat. The next thing I knew, she handed me a small envelope. Inside were instructions, along with a tight, pink skirt, a white blouse, and a pair of nude heels. My jaw dropped. "You want me to wear this?" I whispered, disbelief and panic rising in equal measure. Ms. Whitmore only smiled. "By the time you leave, you'll understand." I barely got through the changing room without tripping over the heels she insisted I wear. The skirt hugged my hips like it was made for me. My reflection in the mirror was shocking. The boy staring back at me seemed to vanish, replaced by someone unfamiliar yet intoxicating. I wanted to run, to rip the clothes off, but something deeper, a tiny spark of curiosity, kept me rooted to the spot. Walking back into her office, I felt every eye on me, even though there was only her. The way the skirt swayed with each step, the click of the heels echoing across the tile floor, it was humiliating and thrilling at the same time. She clapped once. "Perfect. Now, let's begin your lesson." She guided me through posture exercises, speaking in a low, confident voice. "Your appearance affects how people perceive you. You can't command respect or attention if you don't carry yourself with elegance." Her words stung and thrilled. I felt awkward, exposed, every movement foreign and fragile, but also exhilarating. I hated that it felt good. The next few days were even harder. I had to wear her outfits around the school during certain hours, under the guise of a confidence-building exercise. Walking down the hallway, I felt every stare like electricity through my skin. Whispers followed me. "Is that Alex? What happened to him?" I froze more than once, wishing the ground would swallow me whole. But amidst the embarrassment, there was an undeniable thrill in seeing my classmates' reactions. Some stared with disbelief, others with something I couldn't quite name. Maybe envy? Lunches were the worst. Sitting at the table with friends, I avoided eye contact, my skirt riding up slightly whenever I shifted, my heels making even sitting a careful balancing act. "Alex, what's going on?" my friend Jenna asked, suspicion in her eyes. I forced a laugh. "Just trying something new." My voice sounded strange to me, softer, lighter. I caught myself adjusting my blouse and smoothing my hair, a gesture I never would have imagined performing before. At home, the transformation continued in private. My room became a sanctuary, a space where I could experiment without judgment. I tried different hairstyles, tested various shades of lipstick, even practiced walking in heels until my legs burned. Each small success, standing taller, balancing gracefully, feeling my reflection smile back at me, brought a strange, intoxicating sense of empowerment. I was discovering a side of myself I didn't know existed, and it scared me as much as it thrilled me. I started keeping a journal, writing down every reaction, every flutter of excitement or embarrassment. One night, I tried on a silky dress, the fabric sliding over my skin like water. I stared in the mirror, tracing the curves that were no longer foreign, whispering my own name as if testing it. Alex. Or maybe Alexa. The thought made me shiver, a delicious tension building in my chest. The first time I dared to leave the house dressed in full feminine attire was terrifying. I walked down the street, heels clicking against the pavement, skirt swaying, makeup carefully applied. People stared, some with curiosity, some with judgment, but for the first time, I didn't crumble. I felt eyes on me, yes, but it wasn't shame I felt, it was power. I could exist in this body, this persona, and command space, even if the world wasn't ready to accept it yet. Weekends became my playground. I ventured to cafes, shopping malls, even small gatherings of strangers, testing my persona in the wild. Every interaction was electric. Compliments that made me blush, accidental touches that sent shivers through me, and small victories like holding a door gracefully or laughing without self-consciousness. Each experience reinforced the growing truth that this identity wasn't just a disguise, it was me, in a way I had never allowed myself to be. Of course, not everything was smooth. One evening, I ran into a co-worker of my part-time job at a bookstore. My heart froze as recognition flickered in their eyes. Alex, is that you? I felt my stomach twist. For a moment, panic surged, but then I took a deep breath, straightened my posture, and smiled. Yes, and I'm exploring something new. Their surprised expression melted into curiosity, and we ended up chatting normally. That moment taught me that fear often exaggerates reality, and sometimes, courage creates unexpected acceptance. Then came the real test, the school's annual awards night. I had to attend as myself, but dressed in feminine attire as part of the program Ms. Whitmore insisted on. My heart was hammering as I entered the auditorium, the lights casting long shadows, the crowd murmuring. Every step in my heels felt amplified, every whisper echoing in my ears. Friends, teachers, even strangers, all eyes on me. And then, disaster, or so I thought. A teacher I admired, Mr. Henson, approached, eyebrows raised but a gentle smile on his face. Alex, you look incredible. My cheeks burned. Could he see past the skirt and makeup to the person underneath? I nodded, voice steady, thank you. It was the first time I realized that my fear of judgment was often worse than the reality. The night ended with applause as students received awards. I stayed in the shadows at first, but Ms. Whitmore's approving gaze reminded me to stand tall. And I did. Heels planted firmly, shoulders back, chin lifted. When my name wasn't called, I didn't shrink. I walked to the stage to congratulate my friends, every movement deliberate, graceful, a silent declaration of my new self. The climax of my transformation came unexpectedly the next day. A group of students cornered me in the hallway, curiosity mixed with mischief in their eyes. Are you really going to keep this up? One asked, a hint of challenge in their tone. I felt the old fear spike, but then something inside me clicked. I straightened, letting the skirt swish softly around my thighs, and smiled. Yes. And I'm proud of it. The silence that followed wasn't mocking, it was awe. I realized in that moment that embracing myself fully wasn't just about clothes or makeup, it was about owning my identity, my choices, and my voice. Over time, my life transformed in ways I never expected. Friends who had doubted me slowly adapted, some even supportive. My family, initially shocked, came to understand that this was more than a phase, it was a journey toward authenticity. And Ms. Whitmore? She remained a silent mentor, her punishment the catalyst for a discovery I never would have dared alone. Reflecting now, I can't help but smile at the irony. What began as humiliation, fear, and uncertainty became empowerment, self-acceptance, and joy. I learned that vulnerability often leads to strength, that fear can be transformed into courage, and that the most important approval I could ever seek was my own. Now, when I walk into a room, heels clicking, hair flowing, makeup perfect, I carry a confidence that's mine alone. I am no longer hiding, no longer apologizing for who I am. I am Alex. I am Alexa. I am both, or neither. I am simply me. And the world can either watch or embrace it. But I stand tall, smile wide, and live fully in every step I take. Transformation isn't just about the outside. It's about discovering who you are when the mirrors, the judgments, and the fears are stripped away. And sometimes, the most unexpected catalysts, the strict principle, the secret punishment, the whispers of a hallway, are exactly what we need to see ourselves clearly. So, if you ever find yourself trembling in a pair of shoes that feel too high, wearing a skirt that feels too tight, or painting your lips with a shade that makes your heart race, know this: that fear, that thrill, that vulnerability, it's not the end. It's the beginning of discovering a version of yourself that is powerful, authentic, and unapologetically alive. And as I sit here now, looking at the reflection that once shocked me, I realize I wouldn't go back for anything. Because this journey, strange and unexpected as it was, gave me the courage to become fully me. It's been weeks since the awards night, but some mornings I still wake up and stare at my reflection in disbelief. The heels I wore yesterday, the soft skirt, the careful curl of my hair, all of it feels like second nature now. And yet, the world hasn't stopped watching. Every glance, every whisper, every subtle smirk I encounter in the hallways reminds me that being me is still a performance in someone else's eyes. School mornings are still tense. I slip into my feminine attire, smoothing my skirt over my thighs, brushing my hair until it shines. I apply makeup carefully, testing the balance between subtle and striking, unsure if I want attention or invisibility. Some days I'm daring, choosing bold shades of lipstick or eyeliner, testing the reactions of those around me. Other days, I hide behind neutral tones, blending into the background, comforted by the quiet anonymity of the classroom. One day, it all escalated in a way I wasn't ready for. I was in the library, my heels clicking softly against the polished floor, when I felt a pair of eyes on me. I turned and froze. Max, the guy I'd been secretly crushing on since freshman year, was staring. Not just a casual glance, he was studying me, head tilted, curiosity and something else in his gaze. Panic surged first. Did he know? Could he see past the clothes, the makeup, to the old me underneath? He approached cautiously. Alex, or Alexa, he asked, the question delicate, almost scared to break the fragile bubble I'd created. My heart thumped against my ribcage. I could feel every beat in my ears. I wanted to vanish, to crawl under the table, to erase myself from the world. But something inside me, that growing confidence, whispered, "You don't have to hide anymore." "I'm Alexa," I admitted softly, my voice trembling but steady. His eyes widened for a moment, then softened. You look amazing," he said, and for the first time, I felt attraction, genuine, human connection, acknowledged without judgment. That moment was a revelation. It wasn't about hiding, or pleasing, or conforming. It was about being seen, truly seen, for who I was in that moment. From then on, my weekends became adventures. I explored the city, sometimes alone, sometimes with friends who had slowly learned to support me. Every outing felt like a test and a celebration. I walked into cafes, museums, even crowded shopping centers, heels clicking confidently, skirts swaying with purpose. I learned to navigate the world as Alexa, gracefully, deliberately, unapologetically. There were challenges, of course. One Saturday, I went to a mall with Jenna. I had chosen a fitted dress, bold red heels, and a scarf that brushed my collarbone elegantly. Everything felt perfect, until I bumped into Mr. Henson, the teacher from my bookstore incident. His eyes widened, and for a split second, panic froze me. What would he think? What would the school say? But instead of ridicule, he smiled, genuinely, and said, "You're thriving." That simple statement, devoid of judgment, made me realize how far I had come. It wasn't about shocking anyone anymore. It was about owning my presence, my choices, my identity. Even my home life began to shift. My parents, initially hesitant, started asking questions, not out of concern, but curiosity. "Do you want to go shopping for a new outfit this weekend?" my mom asked tentatively one evening. My father, once bewildered, now offered advice on color coordination, tone of makeup, even posture. Their acceptance wasn't immediate or perfect, but it felt real, grounding me in a reality where I could exist fully, without fear of constant judgment. The social dynamics at school were evolving, too. Some students whispered, some stared, some laughed, but I stopped shrinking from their reactions. I started using my presence as a quiet assertion, heels planted firmly, skirt swishing softly, lips curved in a knowing smile. Occasionally, someone would challenge me, ask if I was still doing that girl thing. I'd pause, measure my words, and say softly, "Yes. And it's me." The room would quiet, not in mockery, but in acknowledgement of something bold, something real. Public events became my ultimate tests. I attended a weekend art fair dressed in a flowing dress, soft curls cascading around my shoulders, makeup flawless. I wandered through booths, watched people examine paintings, felt their eyes flick to me, but this time I didn't flinch. I held my head high, interacted politely, laughed freely, and even made small talk with strangers. Each interaction reinforced a truth I was slowly internalizing. Confidence isn't just an outfit. It's a choice, a posture, a willingness to exist unapologetically. But the journey wasn't without vulnerability. One evening, at a small cafe, I overheard a group of students snickering. "That's Alex." No way. The old fear clawed at my chest, threatening to undo weeks of growth. I felt tears prick my eyes, every muscle tensing, ready to flee. But then I remembered every small victory. Walking past stairs, answering questions with poise, standing tall when I wanted to run. I took a deep breath, adjusted my scarf, and let myself smile. Their laughter felt distant, powerless, while my heartbeat settled into calm certainty. It wasn't just about surviving public scrutiny, it was about learning joy in my own skin. I experimented with makeup, exploring bold eyeshadows, glittering lip glosses, daring eyeliner. I discovered heels that made me feel elegant rather than clumsy, skirts and dresses that flowed like liquid silk. Each new discovery brought both thrill and fear, but slowly, fear receded, replaced by exhilaration. Then came the pivotal moment, a school debate competition. I had to participate in a team event, dressed fully as Alexa. My opponent's first glance was a mix of shock and curiosity, and I could feel the old panic rising. But instead of freezing, I focused on posture, voice, and expression. I spoke with clarity and poise, every word deliberate, every gesture elegant. The audience's reactions shifted from surprise to admiration. And when our team won, the applause wasn't just for the victory, it was for my presence, undeniable and confident. That evening, back home, I sank into my bed, exhausted but glowing. The reflection in the mirror wasn't just a costume or a disguise, it was me, fully realized, living a truth I had once been too afraid to embrace. I realized that every whisper, every stare, every challenge I had faced was a step toward this freedom. The next weeks were a blend of discovery and challenge. I started experimenting with more daring outfits for casual outings, off-shoulder tops, pencil skirts, fitted blazers, and the reactions of friends, family, and strangers alike became a mirror of my own growth. I learned to navigate curiosity, admiration, and even envy with grace. I began mentoring a few younger students who were timid about expressing themselves, offering guidance on posture, fashion, and confidence. Every compliment, every expression of gratitude, reinforced the value of owning one's identity. Yet the ultimate test came when Ms. Whitmore herself summoned me to her office. My stomach twisted with nerves. Had I failed her program? But as I entered, she smiled warmly. "Alex, or Alexa," she said, her tone approving, "you've exceeded my expectations. You've learned more than I could have imagined, not just about presentation, but about courage, self-discovery, and authenticity." My chest swelled with pride, a mixture of relief and validation washing over me. Her words echoed in my mind long after I left the office. I understood, finally, that the punishment I had once feared was actually a doorway, an unexpected catalyst that had forced me to confront fear, embarrassment, curiosity, and desire. And I had emerged transformed, not just in appearance, but in spirit. Now, as I navigate life as Alexa, I recognize that empowerment isn't a destination, it's a journey. Every outfit, every interaction, every bold step is a reaffirmation of my right to exist authentically. I smile at reflections, walk with deliberate grace, and embrace the thrill of being seen. And when fear resurfaces, as it inevitably does, I remind myself, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward anyway, heels clicking confidently, skirts swaying, heart open. Looking back, I realized that what Ms. Whitmore called a punishment was actually a profound gift. It forced me to confront the parts of myself I had hidden, the curiosity I had suppressed, and the courage I had never known I possessed. Through embarrassment, experimentation, public scrutiny, and intimate reflection, I discovered a truth that can't be taken away. I am free. I am empowered. I am fully, unapologetically me. And now, as I step out into the world, heels clicking softly, hair flowing, makeup flawless, I know that the journey isn't over, it's just beginning. Every day is an opportunity to embrace myself, to explore, to grow, and to inspire others to do the same. And in that knowledge, I find a joy and confidence I never imagined possible. Because the greatest transformation isn't in the clothes we wear, the makeup we apply, or the way we move, it's in the courage to be seen, truly seen, and still stand tall, smiling, unafraid, and alive.